This is the WMAY morning news feed with business in the 217. And as we do each and every week, connecting with Springfield Business Journal and publisher Michelle Ownbey. Michelle, thanks for taking time with us and giving us an update of what's going on in the Springfield area business community. Before we get too far into it, let's talk about the new edition of the SBJ coming up.
Yes, it's actually hitting the streets today, and this is always a popular one. Every year in July, we have the 40 under 40 award winners who are profiled in the issue, and this is actually our 25th year for 40 under 40. So we are on our second generation in some cases. We've even had parents and now children being recognized.
That's pretty incredible. So 40 under 40, if you want to see who made the cut, you can be sure to pick up the Springfield Business Journal. Michelle, how can people get a hold of that?
Well, you can go on our website, springfieldbusinessjournal.com, and sign up to get the print edition delivered to your home or office. And of course, you can also sign up for Biz Bites, which is our free weekly newsletter with a roundup of everything that's happening in the business community.
It's good to be plugged in to what's going on in the business community here locally. That's why we enjoy bringing you here with the WMAY morning news feed, Business in the 217. I'm Greg Bishop, joined with Michelle Ownbey, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal. So let's get right into it. Some things happening for some businesses that have been around here for a bit, but they are expanding. Let's start with Beauty Cave and Spa. What is this, and how much are they expanding?
Yes, so I had a chance to talk with Shatanya Adams. She opened her own salon on Wabash about 4 years ago now, and she's staying on Wabash, but she's moving to a bigger location just down the road. She's now going to be in that brick building right in front of what was the former Robert Morris University. And she's expanding, bringing some other people on board with her. So it will now be full service, everything from, hair, nails, massage, estheticians, the whole bit. So glad to hear that things are going well for her and she's able to take the business up to the next level.
Especially after the pandemic, where some businesses across the state, the numbers are staggering just to see, a third of some restaurants not open up again, and the impacts that's had with even other small businesses. And as we've talked about before in the past, Michelle, a lot of businesses, the entrepreneurs behind them wanting to change their business. So it's comforting to know that there are business owners out there who have a model that's working and allowing them to expand even after the pandemic.
Yes, there definitely seem to be some people getting ready to take things to the next level. You're right. We've heard about a lot of people wanting to change careers or go a different direction. But I think for some existing business owners, the pandemic gave them a little time to regroup and work on their long-range planning. And so now they've decided to make a move, whether that's to a bigger space or brick and mortar or expanding the services that they offer.
And it seems to be a theme, expansion, which is a fantastic thing to have when you're in a business. You want to expand. You want to offer more services. You want to be able to add more to your bottom line. You can invest locally. You can hire more. You can build out your footprint. And that seems to be what's happening with an expanded wellness practice. Tell us about that, Michelle.
Right. So Dr. Tana Fresina, she's had Fresina Family Wellness there on MacArthur for a number of years. And she just recently purchased the building right next to her office. It had been a hair salon that had gone out of business and was vacant. So she purchased that property and she is expanding her practice to include thermography. And I have to admit, I was not familiar with this until after I spoke to her. But it's a service that up until now has not been offered in the Springfield area. It's basically infrared heat imaging. So perhaps instead of having a CT scan, an MRI, some people are concerned about the radiation or the contrast dyes or things that are used as part of that. And so Dr. Fresina and one of her staff members actually traveled to Florida to get certified in thermography and purchased the equipment and have now opened in this adjacent building. So she's currently just been offering it to her existing clients, but she says she plans to make it available to the public beginning in July.
So that's just one of the services that they're expanding there for that wellness practice, and it's for the whole family, right?
Yes, absolutely. She has patients ranging in age from infants all the way up to senior citizens. So pretty wide variety there.
We're talking with Michelle Ownbey, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal, here on the WMAY Morning News Feed. I'm Greg Bishop, and continuing with the theme of expansion, and love seeing this in Springfield with businesses thriving. We see that now with a boutique that's looking to expand its operations as well.
Yeah, this one has kind of a fun backstory. Piper and Arrow's Boutique. I have to admit that I was not familiar with them. They've existed for a few years, but they've been online only. And the owner, Jocelyn Piper, says that a few years ago, she and her husband were in the process of adopting their second child. And, they'd kind of already done the standard asking family and friends for help for the first adoption. So they didn't feel comfortable going back so soon to ask for help with the second. So one thing led to another. She did some research, got in touch with a clothing wholesaler, and ended up opening this online boutique to not only fund the adoption of their second child, but now they work with other families that are also trying to adopt, and they have a special page on their website where the proceeds from the sale of those items goes to help fund those adoptions. But things have gone so well in the last few years that they are now opening up a brick and mortar location in downtown, 627 East Adams, which you may recognize that address. That was the former cardiologist building, and Seth and Ivy Mullen purchased it a couple years ago. It was in pretty rough shape when they bought it. So the cardiologist ended up relocating because they were gutting the inside and doing a major amount of work to that building. But the renovations are now complete, and Piper and Arrow's Boutique will be moving in next month.
That's good news to have a boutique where people can get gifts for their loved ones, special events, and I'm sure that they're going to have all kinds of unique items that you'll be able to access. And listen, a lot of people shop online, but there's nothing like going to an actual brick and mortar store locally and picking an item up and feeling its weight and feeling its quality. And that's the kind of thing that shoppers really enjoy doing. Michelle Ownbey, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal. Let's talk again about the new edition of the Springfield Business Journal coming out, 40 Under 40. What is it, and how can people get their hands on it?
Yeah, so the July issue is out today. As you mentioned, the 40 under 40 profiles are in there, and we also have a special section on family and minority-owned businesses. A lot of these small businesses sometimes fly under the radar because they don't have the big advertising and marketing budgets, but there's some really cool stories out there. So I personally enjoy learning about some of these entrepreneurs and these small businesses in Springfield. So if you go to springfieldbusinessjournal.com, you can sign up to get a copy of the print edition delivered to your home or office. And of course, we've also got our free weekly newsletter if you want to get a roundup of what's happening in the business community.
And we also do that here each and every week as well with Business in the 217 on the WMAY Morning News Feed. Michelle Ownbey, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal. I'm Greg Bishop. Thanks for taking time. We'll talk next week.
Thanks, Greg.